Talk Show. Recorded live.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is September 2nd, 2011, a week after the Las Vegas event with Mr. Lou, also known as Kevin. And we have Kevin on the line with us tonight. Hey, welcome to the call.
How are you doing this evening?
Things are going well. So apparently you had an overwhelming response, a request for people wanting to learn more about Cusip numbers and what they do and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take the floor and explain what it is that you're offering.
Actually, well, it's not really something that I'm offering.
Okay.
Hello? Did I get cut out?
No, you're still there.
Okay. It's nothing that I offer personally myself. On myself or even Mr. Howard or even Edward, the attorney we do our business through, when we want to track any type of Cusip transactions or securities through pulling agreements on homes or loan mortgages, registered receipts of pay packages we sent in, or court cases, we hire a very specific entity that does it for us. There's numerous entities that's been out there for the last 3 to 5 years claiming they could do it, ranging anywhere from $200 to $2,000 of range to supply that information. And I'd say about 90% of them have been pretty bogus. Haven't been able to get real verified information out of them, except for out of probably about 2 dozen of them that I've ever attempted to use. So I had a bunch of people request how much it costs to get track a Cusip, $1,000 US, and obviously not my program or my solicitation or anything. If anybody wants to get in contact with the entities that do that, it is a flat $1,000.
Kevin, if I can interrupt, we got some people on the call that are saying they're having a hard time hearing you, and it is a bit quiet. Do you have an earpiece or something? Is there some way you can adjust the microphone?
No, I'm just on the standard phone.
Okay, I think that was better right there.
Okay, so I'll repeat that real quick.
That's good.
The standard rate that Mr. Maggio or myself or Mr. Howard pays to get this information is $1,000 US per Cusip, whether if it's for a pulling agreement on a home mortgage or if it's on a court case that you have that's pending in court already or something that's already been previously settled that you want to do a reclaim on it to either a replevin or any type of action. If anybody wants that information, you have to email me your request at mrlouspc@gmail.com, and we'll forward your request to that entity, and they will help you get set up on what you need to supply so they can get that taken care of for you. So, as for the Cusips, that's the biggest thing, and what that gives you is if you want to prove in open court that on your pulling agreements or any documents you had put in, and you want to claim that it's been satisfied, getting that Cusip number with the snapshot is evidence of that fact. That's the biggest recommendation that we have with that.
Okay. And can you give us your email address?
Yeah, it's mrlouspc@gmail.com.
Okay. We have somebody here. Tell us the significance of the Cusip number. Also tell us why we should have it and what the benefits of having it are, such as collecting some dollars.
Well, collecting of dollars is a lot more complicated. You have to prove that you've been damaged in the claim. The fact is, everybody knows they separated the loan and the note. They've done all those little transactions in between, so that becomes a lot harder on reclaiming of money. If you could prove what you should be able to, that if there was any type of insurance ticket on it, private bond or an insurance transaction, then you'll be able to actually go and do a reclamation on that. But the main point of using it is once they open up a court case, say for a foreclosure action against you, that court case is immediately insured and bonded, and you will be able to prove that with the snapshot in the Cusip that the case has already been satisfied.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, lost audio again. So whatever it was you did last time to boost your audio, do that again. So if someone, can you maybe go into more detail? If someone's in foreclosure and they're getting hammered pretty hard, maybe give a little more detail as to how a Cusip number can help that person save their home. And is it the Cusip number that you're looking for, or is it the trust that it's held in?
No, we never get too involved with the trust because that's kind of just like a big giant rabbit hole that they're trying to send people down on the forensic audits and examinations. The real key to going after the banks is either finding the security instruments that they've issued against the pooling agreement, which is what the Cusip is when they put it into original tranche. And once you find that information, it allows you as an entity to go after and pull the 4506 to get to the bank, which allows you to go after the 1099As, Bs, Cs, and most importantly, the OIDs that was issued against it. It basically allows you to re-navigate through the system and pull the correct information on how much money they made off of the transaction and having evidence of the fact that they've already been satisfied. And that information in a courtroom, it stands on itself.
Okay. I've got another question here. Does the Cusip work with the medallion stamp at banks to pay off mortgages? Did your event include having medallion stamp capability?
I use medallion stamps when I need them personally, but no, the medallion stamps does not go with the Cusips. The Cusips are the numbers that are added to a security instrument by the bank. So you don't need to put a medallion stamp on that. It's not your security instrument. It's theirs.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Aside from the Cusip concept, does Mr. Liu know how to become a secured party creditor? Yes, refer to previous recordings. Okay, so, we have a lot of people here that are from the Tim Turner audience, and there's been a lot of people that have done, negative averments, and they've put in, they've had court cases, and they put in these now-held-to-set judgments. And in a lot of cases, those little judgments show up missing. Is there a way to track whether those have been sold, and if so, who and for how much?
You could track, when you track the court cases, like I said, you want to do either a pooling agreement for a loan number or a court case. When you pull the court case, we have one up in Northern California where we pulled the court case who did a similar type judgment. And we can see that his court case is worth $184 million. So, yes, you'll be able to verify when you do a Cusip and a snapshot of it. I mean, those are the two main things you want to pull. You don't really want to go tracking any of those bonds that was registered to the Treasury. You don't really want to go tracking any of that stuff because that's a more complicated manner.
Okay. The mortgage, when the mortgage is securitized, it is no longer a mortgage. It is either a mortgage or a security. The Cusip number is proof that the mortgage has been securitized. I guess that's a question.
Oh, no, it sounds like a statement and sounds pretty accurate.
Okay. Right. What is the significance of having the Cusip number for an average court case?
Well, it all depends on do you want to win or lose? Is it something that they're claiming you owe money on that you want to go away, or is it something you're willing to fight over and over and over again? So that's kind of a personal decision. I mean, I want to be pulling a $1,000 Cusip for an $800 credit card, if you know what I mean. But if it's more like a $50,000 credit card, I may be more inclined to do it.
Okay. Have you worked with these before? Hold on. Here's another one. What if it's a criminal court case?
Yeah, absolutely. Pull it. Probably the most valuable thing you're going to ever use in your court case.
Show that the court has already monetized the case.
Absolutely.
Therefore, it is prejudiced due to conflict of interest.
Yeah, when you start pulling that, there's a proper way of, once you get the information of who's been involved with the transaction, who has received benefit through the Cusip of the tracking to see who's involved, a proper Form 56 fiduciary responsibility will make your misery go away quite quickly.
So have you worked with people that have used these Cusips in court scenarios and have been successful?
Sure.
Can you tell us about that?
Not too much. I don't get into other people's details too often.
Okay.
The most important thing is once you take in the right form with a snapshot in Cusip and you get it into the judge received, not file stamped, or get an in-bank hearing or in-camera hearing where you get a private sit-down one-on-one and serve it to them properly and make sure everybody is aware of the situation, usually goes away nice and quietly and very quickly.
Okay. So, folks, if you've called in and you have any questions, go ahead and hit star 8 on your phone, and that'll put you in the queue. We can line you up for questions. Okay, Samara. We're gonna go to Samara. She has a question, or they have a question.
Hi. Yes, I do. I'm just calling in, and of course, I am very interested in the how concerning the Cusip number and the pooling agreement. So how do you obtain a Cusip number from a court case or a mortgage?
Well, the entities that pulls the information, they have access to the FedWire, DTC, and Euroclear. So when they pull the information, they pull it directly from the sources themselves.
So how would I acquire either one, the Cusip or the pooling agreement? Who do I go to?
Yeah, you send an email to me at mrlewspc@gmail.com.
Oh, great.
I will forward your request to them, and then they will work out with you the necessary steps for you to do it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Central North Carolina, when your phone unmutes, it's your turn.
Thank you. Would you please repeat your email address real slow, please?
Okay, it's mrlewspc@gmail.com. So that's MRSPC.
Mr. Lew, SPC.
Yeah, my mistake. MRLOUSPC@gmail.com. Mr. Lew, SPC@gmail.com.
Okay, is that Sam Poor Cat? Is that correct?
Is that for what?
SPC?
Yes.
Yeah.
S as in secured party creditor.
Oh, thank you so kindly.
You bet. Okay, California, your phone's going to mute, then unmute. It's your turn.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Ron from California. The house has already been foreclosed on. Will this number help me? I'm still in the home, but I'll probably be here till the end of the year. Will this number help me also if I go back on a court case on it?
Absolutely. You take it back in on an appeal or inside of an action against him for replevin bond, and this will give you some tools to go fight that case.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you. North Central Florida. In Florida, when your phone unmutes, it's your turn.
Yes, sir. I'm in the process of with a court case. Actually, it's past the court case. I've already done it, but I was wanting to get the CRESP number to prove that to the courts that the case has been already taken care of by the DTC. How would I go about doing that?
Well, that's what we're talking about. Email me your request, and I'll supply you the information to the entities that will give that to you.
Okay, because what it's really going on is that I was told once I get the receipt from the DTC, I can take that to the courts and show that the debt has been...
You'll get... Yeah, we're going to give you... You'll get a... Not we. They will give you a Cusip number, which is a trackable security instrument,
right,
and a snapshot of the instrument of how the court system has received payment for the court case. So you will get that information.
And then I can take that to the courts, and they'll more or less dismiss the case that's already that it was on.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful. You got to go into the private, which with the courts, you got to request an in-camera hearing with the judge. Have your documents received. Take it to the clerk and have them received and issued to the judge, not file stamped into the record. Or if you have a big panel judge like federal court, you request an in-bank hearing where you get a private meeting with the 3-panel judge and you submit the information there. You got to do everything in private.
Okay. If you would, Mr. Luke, when I email you, if you could send me those steps, I will get that taken care of.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. East Virginia. If you're in Virginia, your phone unmutes. It's your turn.
My name is Ron from Virginia.
Go ahead.
Hello, this is Ron from Virginia. I have a question. I have a family member who went through a federal court case for some charges that allegedly he didn't do. He submitted an affidavit, and the judge and the attorneys, they released him, and they told the courtroom that they need to straighten this out. His attorney and prosecutor, after that, they began to threaten him with more time than he was initially facing. So they made him withdraw his affidavit, and they threw a plea on him. And he's facing up to 30 years in prison. I was wondering, is there any way this process would be able to help him?
Yes, especially if the case is still pending, and more importantly, an affidavit stands on its form of truth only if it's testified upon in court. If he's looking to change the court record, you need 3 affidavits into the record, and it changes the entire court record of threatening actions, prosecuting attorney trying to basically get him with bribery, and all that stuff. But you need 3 affidavits to stand with that. It can't go in by itself. But yes, this information would be helpful.
3 separate affidavits. Okay.
3 separate affidavits from 3 separate entities.
Okay. So would I be able to email you to get more info on that as well?
Well, sure. I'll do what I can.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
well, hold on. Before we take any more questions, let's go over the context of this and why I'm getting this request.
Okay.
When we do our SPC status, guys, at the very end of it, we do what's called a pay packet, which is what we use for satisfaction of mortgages, credit cards, and even court cases. And we were able, at this event that we held last week, we pulled up 42 pieces of property, and we were able to show to the class 42 Cusips that we were able to, 42 properties that's received Cusips off of our pay packets. we were able to show that they monetized our pay instrument well over 40 to 50 times for each house that we did. And that's what's come up with the request of why everybody started emailing me a request for Cusips. It is a very powerful tool. It is something that will allow you the opportunity to keep your house, discharge the debt, go for a quiet title action, prevent the credit card lawsuit, settle IRS tax debt, and makes criminal and civil court cases go away. So really, instead of getting into the details, if you just email me your request to Mr. Lou, spc@gmail.com, and I will tell you through your question if it's something that you would definitely want to take a look at or not. This is not a service that I provide. I don't provide this service. I don't have FedWire access like they do. I don't have TDA access like they do, or Euroclear. I have accounts with Euroclear and TDA, but I don't have the type of access that they do. So if you're interested in that type of information, definitely send me an email, and I'll do what I can to help you.
How soon after someone sends you an email will you be able to respond? I think you mentioned you're going to be unavailable for a while.
I won't be available through this weekend, but I will be checking my email often. And once I have that, I'll be forwarding it off to the entity right after that. Your request will come to me, and I will send it to the proper group. In fact, I believe the email, I'll even give you their email right now. So if you even want to bypass me and send it to them, that's absolutely fine. You'll be doing me a big favor. I believe it was spccreditor.com. spccreditor.com.
Okay.
So if you want to just go start getting them requests for their information right now and what it costs and where they have to send any type of wire deposits, money orders, whatever is necessary to get it done, go ahead and get it off to them, and they'll take care of you and get you started.
Okay. All right. We got a few more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll take a few more questions. That's fine.
Okay. Hi, Bernice.
Hello.
Hi. You're
Hi,
next.
good evening. Thank you for sharing this information. I just put in spccreditor.com and I got server not found. That's a website that you gave us, not an email?
No, it's an email, spccreditor@gmail.com.
Oh, I didn't hear the @gmail.com.
You can request information directly from them.
Okay, great. And I'm at the tail end of a foreclosure that I've been fighting for almost 5 years, and they've already sold the house. The bank got it because there were no bidders, but they haven't changed title yet. So will that allow me to do this really quickly?
Yes, they could return your Cusip with you if you get to them in a timely manner within about 3 to 5 days usually.
Okay, all right, and then I'll be given also direction of what to do with the information.
I don't know what type of direction they're going to supply you. I know they'll give you the Cusip number, a breakdown of it on a spreadsheet, and a snapshot, basically explaining to you what it is and how it goes. I don't think they're going to give you too much direction, for the fact is every state has its own civil rules of procedure. And I don't know that they're going to get too far into those details because that's a lot of work for people to research.
So is there any way that I'm in Connecticut, which is a bank state. Is there any way that there is someone available anywhere that would be able to help me with this?
Sure. There's numerous people. Once you get into it, once you even have just a Cusip number, there's a bunch of people who could pull you up snapshots and affidavits on that. The biggest thing that these people offer is the fact is they can actually go into the account and pull the Cusip, which for the most part is kind of a difficult thing to do.
Right, I understand. So then how would I source some of the people that might be able to help me specifically in Connecticut?
Well, I actually have a couple individuals. I'll have a conversation with them over the next week about supplying extra Cusips for affidavits and snapshots for that.
Okay, so should I I already sent you an email asking for information. I sent it while I was listening.
That's fine. No, like I said, there's numerous people who could do that. Like I said, I know they'll give you an affidavit. I know they'll do a snapshot in the spreadsheet. It's just any more to pass that, they're not going to be able to do too much. But an affidavit stands as fact, and if you submit it into a court record, it takes a lot to rebut it.
Okay, because I have one issue is that the judge has blocked me from filing anything else into my case without court approval. So how would I get around that?
Why? Exactly what would... how could a judge prevent you from filing anything into your court record?
He did. That was the last hearing. He got upset with me because I filed 3949As to the IRS, and I guess that got him and the attorney pretty upset, and he's blocked me from filing anything into my case without court approval. But you're saying this doesn't go through the court. That's what I'm a little confused on. So,
No, the affidavit you would submit into the court.
Okay.
You would submit the affidavit into the court. But instead of having it what's called filed stamped in, you would do what's called received, where basically you take it to the clerk of the court and ask her to put it in received so it doesn't go on the public record.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it goes into the court, just not on the public record.
I understand. And then in terms of would I have a private meeting with the judge? That's what I understood you were saying.
I would always request for an in-camera hearing.
Never heard that.
This type of information should always be held in private. It should never be discussed in public.
Okay, and my question is, here in Connecticut, if I want to get something to the judge, they throw it out unless it's CC'd to the plaintiff. I don't have any way of getting anything to the judge unless there's something I don't know about.
No, go ahead and CC it to the plaintiff. That's no problem.
Okay. Thank you very much.
They should have the opportunity to look at that affidavit. You should let them see how many times they lied, cheated, and stole the banking entity that they're protecting.
Okay, I agree. Okay, and you feel this will work in Connecticut, which is a banker's state?
Cusips, affidavits, I cannot imagine it not working anywhere.
Okay, well, good. That gives me some hope.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bernice. Okay, D.L. Khan, you're next.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Good, go ahead.
A couple of things I wanted to find out. What about a home that's been lost like 10 years ago? Is there any way you can go back that far?
You're going to have to check what your state rules are on replevin bonds. Usually when you go after them for fraud, there is no statute of limitation when you use the United States Code.
Okay.
But replevin bonds, which are usually held in place, usually have a cap anywhere from 3 to 10 years.
Okay.
So you want to check to see what you're looking at.
Okay.
That's going to be a state code question right there. That won't be really anything I would actually know off the top of my head.
Okay. What about, is this going to be recorded? We can go back and listen to this?
Yes.
Okay, and can we still get copies of the seminar last weekend?
Were you a part of the seminar?
I was not there. I had called and spoke with Mr.
At that point, you would have to go to email Edward to reclaim your rights. And he's got that audio up for sale.
Okay,
but when you do that, when you put in that request, make sure you tell him you got it through Tad's website, because then he'll take care of you better.
Okay, perfect.
Okay? Just let him know it came through Tad.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We got 3 more questions. How many more you want to take?
Let's take the last of those 3, and then I'm going to pretty much take my final bow. Oh, there's one more thing I want to discuss with people before I get off.
Sure. All right. So 3 more questions. No one else hit any more questions. The last one will be North Central New York, but the next one will be in West Washington State. You're next when your phone unmutes. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Paula Terrell, and I want to find out, in fact, can you repeat that email address to get the recordings from the audio recordings from the seminar last week?
I don't have Edward's email address on top of my head. Do you have that, Tad?
No, I don't, but you can email me, Kish, Kish, at mailhouse.com, and I will forward it.
Okay, and is it $1,000 per Cusip number?
Yes, per Cusip. It's per Cusip.
Okay.
They buy the information from 3 separate entities, so they make a purchase and then they supply it to you.
Okay, and they supply you with all the documents.
Yeah, they supply you everything that you need through it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That kind of raises the question, because I was there at the seminar and I saw what you had. When you say $1,000 per Cusip,
No. It does not. Each one of those, which had like 40 Cusips, you don't owe $40,000. It's for one court case, one loan number.
Okay, got it.
Okay. However many times they monetize it, just becomes part of the evidence.
Okay.
You get that breakdown.
All right. California, you're next when your phone unmutes.
Okay, hi, this is Don.
Hi, Don.
Yeah, hi. Apparently, the procedure here is it all administrative then? Is that what we're considering this?
Not completely, because once you pull the information, you want to put it in by affidavit, which is administrative. You want to take it into the back records. You want it received. You want it in the private hearing. You want it off the record at the same time. So it kind of plays both in the administrative and non-administrative process.
All right. Now, just real quick, I've also heard of a process that somebody's been going on where I guess they've reclaimed over a couple 100,000 homes across the United States, certain states, where they say that they're saying that there is no standing contract with the home loans. It's like they created the contract, but there's robo-signers, nobody signed it, and down the line, there's no signatures, there's no third party. Is that a process you've heard of?
Yes, I've heard of that. Here's the thing of which I know a lot of people who's attempting to go back on, and Arizona has been really big on it lately, even in federal court, where we actually had on the record one of the largest lobbyists for in Washington, D.C., in a court record actually states to the defense attorney that he was 100% accurate in his pleadings, but on the record it stated, even in front of a federal judge, that Washington has already been compensated to let all foreclosures go through. So that was actually on a court record. So anybody who is making type of arguments like that, I know about 24 people is now being challenged as incompetent and not even getting court hearings anymore.
Yeah.
So I would be very careful on what you're willing to bring into the record, which is why we always say go private, get the information, get it received, go private, get in-bank hearings, get in-camera hearings, and let them satisfy it and do it out of the public eye so nobody gets embarrassed.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
So what their process, if it's still working or not, I would question it, but fundamentally they're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. The contracts are void, and they're void on their face, and they're bogus, and if they could still push it through, congratulations to them, and it's always worth taking a look at.
Yeah, but I've also heard it's best to, like you say, just go private, administrative private, and stay out of the public.
Yeah, stay out of their sight lines, and they usually let you go just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Our last question of the evening, North Central New York. You're up next.
Hello. Hi, this is Kevin. Can you hear me?
Kevin? Yes, we can hear you.
I have a question. Will this work in any way for a child support case? Somebody being in arrears?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. In fact, I actually helped somebody do this very similar to that in the state of New York about 5 months ago and got the complete discharge of the entire case out of New York. So, yes, it does.
Okay, and I can contact you through that email?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. On that other person's the thing with the no contract, are they able to do that because of the fact that after so long we become investors in mortgage-backed securities?
To be honest with you, I don't get too involved with the forensic audits and examinations. Like I said, I think that's just a big, giant rabbit hole that the banks send people down to take their eye off the ball. I think it's been a big waste of time for too many people. It's better to go get the OIDs, the A's, the B's, and the 4506 against the banks to show how much money they lied, cheated, and stole from. And actually have evidence of it instead of tracking down misassignments, third parties who's not involved, trustees who's not obligated, MERS, missing documents, The sad truth, well, for me, the sad truth is it never gives you an end all. It keeps perpetuating into another mistake, robo-signers. And you ultimately don't end up proving too much of the information that you need to walk away with the house. So our point in our process is always go in there, show to the judge in private that the bank has made $100 million off the property or $12 million or $500,000, and they file the taxes, and if they got a problem, they need to go after the IRS now. Shift the burden of proof from you to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you very much. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Listen. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, that's it for the questions, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. I want to make two quick announcements, Pat, if you'll let me, and Sure. Then I'll get off. And I've been around this stuff for quite numerous years, guys, so over 6 years. I've been using this for quite some time. And some of us who's been in this for around a long time, we've been given certain heads up by certain members of the U.S. Treasury and the IRS. We've taken our documents in. Basically, we purchased the ability to get our UCC 1s and 3s and our registered bonds that we record at the Secretary of State certified, which means they certify our lien, so it's no longer a claim of lien. They certify our bond, so it's no longer a claim of a bond. It's a certified bond, which is one of the biggest things that we use in our transactions because it makes it that much more standing in a courtroom. We have been given a heads up over the last about 10 days that they're expecting to shut down certification of all liens of the Secretaries of State on September 30th of this year. So for those of you who have been sitting on the fence if you're going to get involved or not, I highly recommend you get involved in a timely manner. Most of us are hopeful that it comes back in January. That is our hope. But it appears like in the 1980s, they did a new Accounting Principles Act to offset the junk bonds and the bogus bonds that they had in the 80s in that crisis, that they're attempting to do another accounting change because of the bank fraud that's been out there. So I recommend everybody get involved in a very timely manner and pay very close attention and follow the rules as close as possible.
And last of all, for those of you, I had several people at the conference when they heard me talk about that in private. Can I certify your liens? No, I cannot. I don't do that process. I don't work at the Secretary of State or the IRS. But once again, the people who do track the Cusips, who always does my certifications, will certify UCC 1s, 3s, and bonds. So if that's something you're interested in as well, you send that request off to Mr. Lou, spc@gmail.com, or you could send it off to the people who do it themselves, which is the spccreditor.com. At gmail.com, my mistake, at gmail.com. So if that's something you're interested, put in a request, but you got to be timely, and they'll give you the heads up of what it costs. I'm not too sure what they charge. I believe it's roughly about $5,000 to $6,000, but if it's something you're interested in, you want to take action on it, I'm just giving you the heads up.
All right. Wow, powerful stuff. Well, again, Kevin, thank you very much for the information that you have shared with us and coming out and taking the risk and holding the seminar and then sharing this information. It sounds very powerful and like it's going to help a lot of people. So, well, I hope so. Mr. Howard, Bruce, and I, we're bowing out. We're not in the seminar business. That was our last one. As I mentioned to people at that event, we'll be holding private events in the future for people. There'll be non-paid events. It will just be us sharing information and our experience to help people out. So we're definitely bowing out of the game, but we want to give as much information to people so you don't be led astray and you get things done correctly. So there's always the opportunity for you to have success. All right, excellent. Well, again, thank you very much, and we appreciate the information that you have shared. And that brings this call to a close. So, folks, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I will keep you informed of other conference calls that we may have. So have a good night. Goodbye.
Excellent. Take care.